Welcome, everybody. The third race of the week at Kentucky Speedway, our home track for ABN Pride Week. Kentucky Speedway, close to the halfway point for the TWIGI iRacing Series. Qualifying underway as we look at Jack Stanley on track at the moment. For everyone tuning in on a wonderful Friday evening, no matter where you are in the world, we thank you for spending your evening with us. I'm Carmen. Alongside me, as always, Callie, Heydt, here on Friday evenings. Honestly, Kentucky Speedway, it's our home track. It's a mile and a half, but it's complicated, to say the least. It's one of the flattest intermediate tracks on the calendar, and that means a lot of struggles as we're seeing Jack Stanley go through 3 and 4, drifting up as wide as possible here. Callie, I don't think you've ever raced at Kentucky Speedway, but you had a chance to kind of see some drivers handle this track. What's your first impressions?
I haven't raced this version of the track. I raced the current version. It seems a lot the same. I'm not entirely sure what the differences are between the two versions, but knowing the car and knowing the general layout of the track, I am expecting some similar driving to what we used to the past few weeks into turns 1 and 2. And I'm expecting some sketchy driving out of 3 and 4.
As Callie mentioned, this is the older version of the track before it got facelifted in 2020, as Jack Stanley ended up the 11th fastest there, the slowest of those that have run so far. Greg Pillar on track now. The big difference between this track and what we end up having now, so the current version of the track that we raced last night for the Champ Car World Series, for those that missed that live stream, or the Cup Series on Wednesday, it's not a symmetrical track as it is right now. The version that we're seeing on track tonight for the TWIGI iRacing Series is symmetrical. So it's 13 degrees of banking on both sides of the track. And the track is evenly spaced. There's even 4 lanes that you can kind of work with. The new version of Kentucky is not like that. So what we saw last night in particular is going to be completely different, especially in 3 and 4, which is flatter. On the up-to-date layout that we saw last night. This layout from 2011. So, a little bit more age, a little bit more character on this track. But it's a little bit more in line with what people have come to expect from tracks. Almost sort of in line with Kansas would be the next closest comparison.
I gotta say, Carmen, I really wish you'd used this version on Wednesday. That'd have made my life a whole lot easier.
You're not the first person that said that, but the new version just looks a lot better.
Lipstick on a pig, Carmen.
Greg Pillar hoping to try to aim a little bit higher here on qualifying. Second lap underway, a very slow first lap here. And he's not even going to have a chance to finish this lap. He'll end up just sitting in 12th. Alec Daffin will not be qualifying. So this is going to be a very interesting sort of dilemma for the field. Drivers electing not to qualify, 18 cars in this field. We'll kind of walk through it here as we get ready to go. Merrick Watchorn, pole position, yet another one. He's looking to break a lot of records this season and well on his way to do that. Patrick Hernandez on probation after an incident last week, having to mind his P's and Q's a little bit, but he starts in the front row. Another good starting position for Hernandez in that number 19. Brennan Gregg and David Wright sit in row number 2, ahead of Jacob Elkins and Eli Sasick. Selena Thompson and the debuting Lily Frazier in row 4. John Bowaldo Jr. and Mauricio Millian in row 5. Jack Stanley and Greg Pillar, the last of those that set qualifying times, they'll start in row number 6. And as we look further down the order of this 9-row field, you'll see Alec Daffin, P3 in the championship right now, fell behind Brennan Gregg with last week's race, which Daffin was not present for. He'll start alongside Bobby Blowers in the 34 and 14th. Josh Jernigan and RJ Buchanan starting in row 8. Buchanan on a streak right now, multiple top 10 finishes in a row. A career highlight for him so far in the TWIGI iRacing Series. Trying to add to it, he'll have to gain at least 6 spots to make that continue tonight. Casey Ellis and Lilac Zero will make up the rest of the field. Zero, a last-second entry for this event, but she is on track. You'll see her right at the very back of the field. That vacant spot is for Alec Daffin, who is not currently present on the track. We'll see if he joins and if he's going to take a pit lane start. If so, puts him well behind the 8-ball here.
I should quickly interject that the 61 car of Thompson does have an EOL from last week,
Yeah.
so we quickly fall into the back of the pack during pacing.
As we get ready to roll here at Kentucky Speedway, the legacy version of Kentucky Speedway. So it'll be interesting to see. It's going to be very much like we saw at Texas last week. Tire wear, tire conservation will be a premium. And two of the drivers at the front of the field know a thing or two about that as we get ready to roll here. Kind of breaking things down just a little bit here. 1.5 miles, D-shaped oval. 160, 118 degrees the track temp tonight as we get ready to go, but not as much wind. Way less wind compared to what it was at Texas last week as we get ready to go. Again, for those that are just now tuning in, I'm Carmen alongside me, Callie Heydt, the newest ABN champion after winning Formula Atlantic on Tuesday. Hoping for a little bit less chaos tonight. 18 cars, though, on a track that is known to be challenging. We're going to find out. 220 miles en route for tonight's event. 147 laps as we get ready to go.
Make no mistake, I love the chaos.
Right? Pace cars in. Watchorn, Hernandez lead the field to green. All 18 cars present. And the ABN Bluegrass 220 is underway.
Re-widened out of turn 2 immediately. Thompson trying to get some easy spots off of that EOL. Up into 15th now. With, who's that? Jernigan falling back to last place. Issues on the apron there.
Jernigan having a lot of problems here. As we get this race started, it's Linda Thompson dropped to the back of the field, as Callie mentioned there, having to serve a penalty from Texas. Part of the incident with Patrick Hernandez a week ago, but quickly making your way back forward.
Something I would imagine they're both trying to put very far behind them and move forward with. Some of them need to move a lot more forward than others in the form of the 61 compared to the 19, which is a lot further up the field. Some of these cars are preserving their tires early on. Some of them are really pushing for it. Taking some really low lines, some really fast lines, trying to get those positions as soon as they can for any tire wear might slow them down. As we know from previous weeks, that isn't always the case, and that can put you on a very, very poor tire cycle compared to the other competitors in this race.
Seeing Hernandez quickly dropped backwards a couple positions here. Fell behind the debuting Frazier, Elkins, who's back after a week off, and Brennan Gregg, and now it's seriously under threat from David Wright, that one car, who's been very potent, just hasn't had the strategy work out the way he's wanted to the last few weeks. The number one, the Hawaiian Tropical car, trying to make his way close to the top 5.
Oh, contact out of 1. Stanley has made contact with Bowalda. Just turned him. That's a hard hit from the rear end of Bowalda. I wonder if it'll require time in the pit lane. Yeah, it looks to me from that like Brawler just turned his nose off of, or turned himself off of Stanley's nose. Came down into one, just as, here we see here. Brawler taking their lines, and Stanley taking their line, and then Brawler just comes down over Stanley and turns himself into the wall.
We saw this a lot last night in the Champ Car race. Drivers trying to take a different line approach to the corners. Bawada was trying to shoot for a little bit of a gap there. You saw between Selena Thompson and Jack Stanley there. But Stanley was able to close the gap just a little bit more than Bawada was expecting. And as a result, around he goes for the first caution of the night. Let's take a closer look, a little bit closer to zoom.
Stanley, Jernigan, and Bawada into the pits. One of those is unsurprising.
Yeah, you're going to see here, Bawada, it goes for a higher entry lane, tries to diamond it off, and Stanley's just holding the middle the entire time. Contact with the left rear quarter panel. Callie, you know a little bit about that. As soon as that left rear quarter panel gets touched, it is
pretty much
always around.
You're on a ride and you are helpless. Interestingly enough, we have both Stanley and Bawalda out of the pits immediately, so just tires and fuel for those two cars.
Bawalda using his fast repair, I'm assuming.
Of course, yes.
I'm assuming Stanley would have probably just come in to double check to make sure he didn't have a lot of damage.
And Stanley did not take his fast repair, no. He was seemed to be okay with that damage he's got. Worth noting, this wasn't the first contact they've made today. They made contact over the tri-oval, or the front stretch rather, whatever you call it in this configuration, over lap 3. So not the first contact today, probably not the last, given that these two cars are usually racing around each other quite often. So maybe some feelings are hurt tonight. Maybe someone will try a lot harder. Might see some repeat occurrences with these two cars.
Hey everyone, spending your evening with us here on ABN. Thank y'all for taking your time to be with us. I'm Carmen alongside me, Callie Heydt, as we get ready to go here.
After that quick, what was it, five lap green flag run, we have Daffin made 5 places, Ellis has made 5 places, and Thompson has, despite the AOL, jumped back up to 11th, which is 7 places gained. Not bad.
car field tonight as we get ready to go. Green flag back in the air and away we go.
Daffin with the early inside move on right. Oh, nearly turns right. Well, then right into a lot of contact over these first 2 corners. They'll have very little patience and a lot of spots to gain.
Absolutely. And it's another one of those things with Kentucky, with it being such a wider track. It's also a lot flatter. You can run so many different lanes here, and drivers figuring out what lanes to be in this early on. You're going to have a lot of fighting for the same real estate. As Daffin makes his way forward, he's up 7 spots from where he started. Up into the 6th position, battling with Sasek.
The field spreads out very quickly here. We already have gaps of 5 seconds from the first to last place car over just 2 laps of green flag running.
Yeah, it will spread out a little bit. And typically in traditional TWIGI fashion, you're going to see a lot of people tire sitting early. That'll charge back forward near the end of a tire stint. And those that obviously will burn these tires a little bit quicker. As we're seeing a lot of drivers battling here. This is a track, especially learning from last night, the more you spend time side by side or in traffic, that right front's going to die. It's going to completely fall off a cliff. And if you're someone like, if you're in Davin's position, your objective is to try to get to the front of this line as quick as possible with that pace. Otherwise, where Sasek is right now is where you're going to end up being, and there's no way you can be helped at that point in time. It is so difficult to make inroads once that right front begins to go, because you can't start saving late. It's something you have to start doing consciously now.
It's hard to tell a racing driver not to push, not to fight, not to try and gain a position, even though we all know it's in most stages of a race, it's just a waste of your tire and a waste of your energy. But it's doesn't stop them from wanting to try it. They see a gap, they're going to go for it. They see an opportunity, they're going to try and take it. And some of these cars only do that for the entire race. Razor making an inside move on Greg, trying to out of 3 and 4. Doesn't quite have the run. Did into the corner, but didn't have the grip out of it. Promising start on their debut race in the TWIGI series. 6th place, up 2 from their starting position of 8th.
Not doing too bad, and it's a decent group to be involved in. You look at Eli Sasek, first ever high formula race winner in ABN. Brennan Gregg, who's got multiple podium finishes. Daffin, who's got race wins in this series.
Eli is he's a jack of all trades character. He can do a lot with a lot of different cars.
Yeah, Eli is just an all-around really good driver. You see that on Monday nights in the Prototype Sprint Cup. Obviously,
well, maybe not last Monday. He had a rough time with that one.
Everyone had a rough time with that one.
Unless you're the 41 car, that was fine.
Right. I don't even remember that one.
I wonder why. Do you remember Tuesday too? I remember Tuesday.
I remember the after effects of it.
Which one? My one of your ones.
Mine. Elkin's at the front of this line here, not missing a beat despite missing an entire week here. Battling with Hernandez and Daffin.
You say that as Hernandez goes for the move, has the move. Can he keep the run up into 3 and 4? Yeah, that move looks as... I take back everything I was saying. Elkin's back ahead. Just didn't have the grip out of that one.
It's so easy to want to drive it into the corner on the inside line here. It is
Daffin now trying to capitalize on that from that move from Hernandez. Trying to do the exact same thing. I anticipate... Oh, I don't know. Oh, into the wall from Hernandez.
Caution's out, and it is for... Oh, a huge crash.
Oh, wow.
David Wright, RJ Buchanan, Jack Stanley's in it. It looks like Josh Jernigan had a piece of it as well. This is off the back of the field.
That was initiated from 1 and 2 by Buchanan and Wright, and then a few guys got involved in that one. They bounced back down the track, and Stanley was just not paying attention.
But take a look at this as everyone comes down pit lane. Second caution of the night. Some drivers stay out, like Liv Frazier, who will now lead laps the first time in the TWIGI iRacing series.
So what happens here is you have the 99 on the inside line and the 12 on the outside line coming into turn 1. They do the opposite of each other. The 99 goes in too hot, runs wide, and 12 is trying to cut inside that line, and yeah, they just run each other into each other. and eat that wall.
Obviously, you see David Wright gets clobbered by Jack Stanley. A little bit of ARCA brakes right there.
Yeah, that would that if I were in any position, I would be looking at that one for sure.
Josh Jernigan, well, he said that Jernigan was involved in that. He was not. He slowed down, and it just happened to look like when he was accelerating, he was a part of it, but he got away with that just fine. So ultimately, just a 3-car accident, but a vicious one for drivers that unfortunately have to use their fast repair within the first 20 laps of this race. It's going to be a long rest of this race.
I tell you, it's a good thing with Stanley didn't use this in the first caution he was involved in. That would have been a terrible, terrible mistake. Can you imagine if he'd forgotten to untick it and that happened? Oh.
Gut-wrenching right there. Jernigan still in pit lane. Oh, he's coming back down pit lane. Because he was just fine, so yeah, he's just making the last-second pit stop here, topping off with fuel. Not a bad strategy call. We've seen that work out for some drivers in the past. So Fraser, Sasek, Blowers, Alice, Pillar, then Watchorn, the pole sitter, in 6th place. That's going to be how this field restarts. It's going to be very interesting.
You say interesting, I say Watchorn in front by 5 laps.
It's all going to be depending on how much they force Merrick to use the outside lane, because that outside lane's going to wear tires like no other.
We know that he can manage his tires. I think so long as I imagine he'll push to gain as many spots as he can in those first few laps. Once they're at temperature, and then he will just coast as he does. And we're away.
Did the 19 have a bad pit stop? No, the 19 was the first one that came down pit lane. So the top 5 all stayed out, and Merrick already back up to 4th.
Oh, Daffin very loose out of 2. Nearly lost it.
Yeah. 3 wide almost. Selena Thompson forcing her way through and will be absolutely a pain in the side of Daffin.
That's Watchorn past the 34 Blowers now.
Chasing down Sasek here. Alexa, what's a 20-lap difference in tires look like? This.
I don't think she has that data.
No, I don't think she needs the answer, because I think we're looking at it right now. It's just over/under on the inside of Sasek, who is no slouch, but those 20-lap difference in tires are absolutely crucial.
So this is the 2nd lap of the green flag run, and I predicted within 5. So
want a cookie?
I would love a cookie. Have you got one?
Oatmeal raisin.
I'll take it.
You are psychotic.
You got a problem with that?
Oatmeal raisin is disgusting.
And with that, we have Watchorn back into the lead during halfway through the 2nd lap of the green flag run.
To me, it's the most fascinating because he got through this a lot quicker than the likes of Greg and Daffin did.
Well, there's a significant amount of difference in the skill of these drivers I have, I think. While over a single lap, like a hot lap, qualifying lap, they might be close. Greg was very close to Watchorn during qualifying. But when you get to actual race runs and you have the difference in tire temperatures and wear and traffic, there are completely different skills required of a driver. Take someone who can run a GT3 car just fine in a single class race. Now throw them in a race with 3 different classes, 2 of which are faster than you. It's a completely different race, and just same here. It is a completely different race for Watchorn to run versus his competitors who just can't do what he does.
They've finally gotten around Lily Frazier, who's dropped down to 5th. But in the process, Watchman has automatically opened a 1.8 second gap. And that's something that Alec Daffin and Brennan Gregor have to try to figure out who's going to take that. Looks like Daffin may be the one to try to lead the charge back up to the race leader. As Daffin takes second, Elkins takes third.
Now every car from 1st through to 8th, bar the number 15, have pitted. They are all on the same age tires. So seeing the 13 of Fraser holding on, maybe not to Thompson right there, but holding on as it stands is how long for? Because they're being eaten up right now by the cars of the 89 and the one car, who I believe also, but yeah, both also pitted during that last stop. Fraser, Sasek, and Blowers are now all facing the consequences of their actions.
Yeah, it's very interesting to me staying out on that, especially 18 laps in. I would have been, the safe bet would have been to take tires. I wonder if they were gambling, because we had 2 cautions back to back there. I wonder if they were gambling. There's going to possibly be another one that they could eventually just kind of ride around and sort of get that advantage right back by pitting a little bit later for their first stop. Because they're going to have to come in earlier too. Like, they're completely off sequence now. So I don't know if they were hoping that there'd be another caution. There still might be, because
it's very
if you look back a little bit closer here, that looks like a recipe for what could be something here, because that is Jernigan, Gamillion, and Blowers.
Cars of very different skill sets with the drivers and very different tire ages is a recipe for disaster in some cases.
Yeah, Blowers, one of those that stayed out. One of those that's the furthest back of those that did not. Ellis and Pillar were the first ones that dropped to the right rear of the field. But Blowers, one of the ones that were higher up on that restart, already outside the top 10, firmly outside the top 10 now.
Sasek and Fraser both showing that they took some care to their tires during the last run, because they haven't been completely consumed yet by the cars. It's happening. It's happening right now. Hernandez and Buchanan are trying to get by them, but there's still a gap from Gamillion, Herdigan. They're doing okay so far. They're doing a lot better than Blowers did with their older tires, and that will definitely help them in the longer run to try and get in a better position with their pit cycles. The battle up front for second place is still brewing. Elkins is passed back up front behind, in front of Daffin now, with Greg wandering a second behind. So it's very much a race for second place right now. Same age tires. As a similar skill set drivers, they're laying down relatively similar lap times to one another. Slightly faster lap times than what Horn is putting down, but I imagine that won't last very long once he feels any threat or heat. Daffin going for the inside move on Elkins into 3, and it's not happening.
Daffin goes from the inside to the outside. Outside is going to be how you have to get moves done. The question is, how far outside do you want to go to try to make something happen?
Minor contact out of 3 with Thompson and Wright. Wright passing on the fresher tires, goes in deep, comes out high, tracks out high into the front of Thompson. Unhappy driver behind that car now. Minor damage to the fender. But still sitting respectively in 7th place, considering an EOL at the start of this race. Speaking of spots gained, we have Zia from back in the field, missed qualifying, entered the fucking, entered the paddock minutes before green flag, and is currently up 12 on the same pit cycle as the leaders. So not a fluke, not a matter of different tires. just pure tire saving, I suppose. Finally, the tire saving that we've been speaking about looks like it's finally coming to actually come to effect.
The gap right now between the front two, between Watchorn and Elkins, 2.5 seconds. Daffin's dispatched Brennan Gregg by over a second here. And then Brennan Gregg's on his own. We look all the way back to David Wright, who again had a little contact with Selena Thompson to sort of pull them apart. Zier, another tire saving strategy here for Zier, could play out well.
I tell you, I would hate to be Gamillion right now. Only just getting past the last of the old lap tire cars. I can only imagine how much of his tires he's burnt up just trying to get through them.
Iowa is going to be the name of the game. We are almost 20 laps into this stint for most. For some drivers, they are still on the same tires they started on, and they are feeling all of it right now. Going to the back of the field, Ellis and Pillar battling with the likes of Buwalda and Stanley, who've used their fast pairs already. And still
I imagine that the cars that haven't pitted yet, 13, 71, 34, 53, 09, their tanks are running, they should be running low by now. They should be in the next 5-6 laps, I imagine.
Yeah, I'd imagine they'd be coming in here soon.
Which will put them all a lap down until the rest of the field pits in an equal amount of time from when they pitted, which would be another 20 laps to go, or 20 laps from now. You know, they'll be sitting a lap down, albeit on fresher tires, but a lap down from the leader at least for a lot of the rest of the run. If a caution comes out, that will severely impact 4 of those 5 drivers.
Oh yeah, if not all 5.
If not all 5, if the car ahead is involved as well, it would ultimately ruin all their races. You have to spend the majority of the rest of the race hoping for a caution, praying for a caution, or hoping for something that gets you back on the lead lap. If you don't get that, then you're racing 4 other cars for essentially last place.
Eric Watchorn leaded this race by 3.86 seconds over Alec Daffin and Jacob Elkins, with Brennan Gregg now back firmly in this battle for second place. Trying to help with this battle. Is that right now? Al Daffin in the wall. And that was not a light tap. He'll go from second to fourth in a heartbeat as he went completely sideways, bouncing off that turn 4 wall. Now former teammates going at it once more. Oh, and Daffin struggling a lot. Elkins pulling away, but Daffin's struggling big time now.
It looks like from that turn 4 impact, it looks like his front right is absolutely gone. I imagine he's been fighting a lot with Elkins over the course of this run, over the course of the last 23 laps. His right front must be absolutely, with all those inside passes he's been trying, his tyre must be shredded, gone, toast. And at this point he's praying for some sort of caution, because he's not going to want to run the rest of this tyre for the next 20 or so laps. It'll be pure torture, and he'll easily fall midfield, if not to the back of the current pit cycle cars.
Top 10 are all on the same pit cycle. They all pit on lap 18. Then you look at Sasek, Blowers, and Frazier, who have gotten ahead of Jernigan and Buwalda. So they're not at the very tail end. There is some hope. But right now, it is not looking great right now for Daffin, who keeps drifting up just a little bit higher than everyone in front of him. Keep an eye on this battle for second place. There's another battle here, the battle for 12th. As Jernigan also just bounced off the wall, and he'll lose a spot to Frazier.
Really, the only fighting, the only challenging for position we have at the moment is at the backfield with Pillar, Stanley, and Ellis. A mixture of old and newer. Oh, with that said, never mind. Pillar is going in. So Pillar, being one of the cars that has not yet pitted, has been running on track for the entire 45 laps so far. With Ellis right behind him in the same scenario, that leaves Fraser, Sassick, and Blowers. I would say the next 2 laps they're coming in.
And that gives us a window here, because they have, again, they did not pit on lap 18 when everyone else did. So that means that you're looking at another 18 laps here from about lap 47. It'll be close to lap 65-ish when we see the leaders come in again. Give or take a few laps there.
Give or take a few laps. Maybe a few more for Merrick. I say plus T Merrick.
Yeah, probably. He's got the ability to sort of just sit and coast now if he wants to. He's got a 5-second gap on Elkins and Gregg. Sassick stays out still, as does Frazier.
Blowers is in though. Blowers is in.
Yeah, Blowers has come in, so that's 3 of the 5 that's come in. But it looks like Sassick and Frazier, 2 of the drivers that can save a little bit more. And it seems like it makes sense that Blowers, Frazier, and Ellis, they came in for tire more than they did for fuel.
I will bet you that cookie that Watch One comes in lap 66. Assuming a green flag run. Lap 66 is my number, actually, now that I mention it. And it could be his too.
Frazier boarding off Jernigan. Sassick a little bit far ahead. Still hanging on to the tail end of Jernigan as this battle for second takes root. Ray going forward over Elkins.
Second place is a roller coaster of emotions in this race. From Daffin to Elkins, back to Gray again. Give it a few more green runs and Zil will be up there too. And talking about the usual front runners of this race, let's talk about Hernandez, not doing too well. Gamillion, not doing too hot either. Same team as Watch On, usually up front with him, usually in the top few places. But tonight they are not having the same luck that you might expect of them. Currently running 7th and 9th for Hernandez and Gamillion respectively. Hernandez with a little bit of damage to his car. And Gamillion with a little bit of rear end damage to his car too. They have been through the thick of it so far over these last 51 laps. I think ultimately what we're witnessing here between Sasek and Fraser, having not yet pitted, somehow, I suppose 45 was not the number for them to tank.
Fraser just now coming in.
Okay, yeah, so Fraser coming in now, Sasek coming in next time by, but you can see the varying levels of skill between these cars, Sasek, Fraser, and the cars behind them, Jernigan, Broda, Stanley. Well, they have been involved in some instances. They did get their fast repairs in. They have pitted on the same lap as the rest of the pit cycle. So having these cars up until this lap, Fraser, Sasek still running ahead of the cars below them, and that's us again now. But having these cars having been running ahead of the lower down cars in the field showcases a significant split in talent. How they can save the tires, like they make the tires work a lot longer and a lot better. Versus cars on the fresher tires, you can't do that, or have burnt it up way too quickly in those places.
And it's important to note that those that had to come in here, they're almost all guaranteed to go 2 laps down on this. Like, Blauer's just 1 lap down. Fraser will eventually get back one of those laps here because Fraser's right behind the 91 Alphameric watcher. When you see Fraser just behind there, she's going to quickly get those tires warmed up and make her way back forward. But yeah, you can tell that there's 2 that pit based on fuel and the 3 that pit based on tires. And as we saw with Stina Thompson last week, that first stop was detrimental. She's last week spent the entire rest of the race trying to crawl that back up. And that's what the 3 drivers, Pillar, Ellis, and Blowers, have to deal with now, is they've got to try to work themselves out of that hole that they've created early.
I would like to make amendments to my bet for the cookie. Can I do that?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, so I think lap 73 is my new number for Merrick. So only 7 up on my previous estimation. But given we've seen the true capacity of these fuel tanks, roughly 51, 52 on a car that might be pushing for most of the run.
Yeah.
With Jernigan in the wall of 3, ran a little too high there. Yeah, I think low 70s is a more realistic expectation for these primary cycle cars.
Yeah. We're going to have to try to navigate through lap traffic here. Drivers that have not yet pit, but pit on lap 18, they're just off the pace here a little bit. Buwalda, Stanley, and Jernigan now all a lap down, with Buwalda now the first car a lap down.
Being 2 laps down on pace alone, Pillar and Analyst, their races are currently in very detrimental states. I don't say pace alone, but a mixture of pace and pit cycle. Not collision related, not caution related. Just green flag running. They're 2 laps down and running plumb last. Not a good showing for them so far in this race, and they would need a miracle to get back on the lead lap. Oh, and that is a Jernigan in the pits, potentially for the damage inflicted a few laps prior, or just fed up with their tires. 99 also into the pits. These are lap 18 cars, right? I believe they previously pit on lap 18.
Yeah, Buchanan and Jernigan all pit on lap 18, so they're pitting for tires here.
Their fuel tanks still have some to go, but they're unhappy with it.
Brendan Gray and Jacob Elkins trying to close in the gap a little bit. 6 seconds. The gap's not open up as much as it was before. But now there's a huge mixture of cars that are on fresher tires and older tires. Almost with like a short track with how much the differing traffic is running right now.
Only 9 cars currently running on the lead lap. About to be 8 cars on the lead lap now that Hernandez is in the pits. Another car on the lap 18 initial stop coming in early with an estimated 10 laps to go on the fuel tank. So these cars have really been running those tires. I imagine the run fright. Yeah, we'll go with that. The run fright really hard. And having a really bad time of it. Thompson in also. Down to 7 cars currently on the lead lap.
See Jack Stanley getting one of his last back here. Selena Thompson, as you mentioned, coming down pit lane. There she is, coming to her box. At least Selena Thompson's not alone in this one.
I mean, with so many cars, when you have these races with so many cars being 1 lap down from the leader, it kind of turns it into a sort of multi-class race, where you have plenty of cars to race, but only the cars on your lap.
Eric Watchorn stabilizing as far as his gap to Brendan Gray goes. Gray doing a good job of sort of just trying to make that plateau as much as possible. David Wright's come in. And John Bawalda coming in. You said that you thought the Merrick Watch was coming in about what, 72, 73?
72, 73 is my estimation based on running the tank dry, which he does
quite a lot.
Pretty much exclusively, I'd say. If he does run the tank dry, with so many cars coming in now, right in, Gamillion being the last car on the lead lap, that's 5 cars behind Watchhorn on the lead lap. If you can run that tank dry for the next 6, 7 laps, and these other cars, now Zia coming in as well. Come midway through the next green flag run, I can see the entire field being lapped. At this rate of tire wear, and just sheer dominance and preservation from the Watchhorn.
Coming down pit lane now. There's Watchorn. So your bet was wrong there. He decided to cover off the undercut.
No. Actually, I think you're fine. It's lap 66. My original bet was bang on. I will take that cookie.
I believe in casinos it's called that's called taking shots.
I think you've had more than enough of those this week.
Yeah, a few. But Watchorn comes in. Brendan Gregg will inherit the race lead here. And now we can see, for other guesses, right, who goes to 73, if anybody, on the fuel window, because we assume that fuel window-wise, you could easily do that. Yeah. Greg's not going to do that, though. He's like, no, thank you. I'm good.
I mean, I think ultimately, if you see Watchorn pit, even if you know your tank could last another 10, there's no point trying.
Look at that. Hernandez and Blowers. Blowers drifted up the track. Hernandez almost sent him to the catch fence, trying to get around him.
We've seen a lot of that this race. A lot of cars going high, cars going low, just interacting with each other and just having a real bad time.
I'm just going to point out something right now. There is a car that's still out on the original strategy. It's the 95 of Jack Stanley.
Considering the, how do we say, lack of luck he has had during this race, this could be what he needs to really make something better of his first 20 laps.
Brendan Gregg coming out of pit lane. So for a period of time, Jack Stanley will be second place on track here at Kentucky. There's David Wright, who's going to close in pretty quickly. Set the fast lap of the race at 32.84. Faster than that of Merrick Block.
More contact with those two. It's the same thing as always. Inside car drifting high, outside car trying to stick it low. 3 or 4 times now we've seen the exact same occurrence, causing minor or major contact. Either way. And that's only coming in this time with lap 69. So 4 off my second guess, with Merrick getting the 66 on my original guess. Merrick now setting the fast lap of 32.7, and Stanley spinning it into the pit lane. That is unfortunate. Yeah, I think someone needs to get him a clutch pedal because he is not having a good time.
So, Stanley pits on lap 71. Interestingly, David Wright up to second place took a 2-lap undercut. And it worked out pretty well for him.
With that said, Greg behind him, closing fast, 3 laps fresher tires, and 1 lap overcut over Watchupon. So Greg and Gamillion would be the latest pitters, ignoring the interesting entry of Stanley. However, with Gamillion so far back, Greg is the only one on the current age of tires to really make something with it. Though I don't think his tires will last long enough to make it up to Watchhorn. I think this is the Greg and Wright show for second place. Apparently, the 61 did not take, for whatever reason, did not take tires during their last stop. That is a significant blunder.
It's a bold strategy. We'll see how it plays out.
I don't think it's a strategy.
It's not a good strategy. I'll give it that.
The one I'm thinking of begins with S but ends very differently.
Oh, not a great go. And that means that Selena Thompson right now is a sitting duck. Because those tires, those
tires are giant.
Yeah. You can hear the difference in the speed. Thompson
she's
comes
coming in now.
Yeah, there's no point. Once you realize that's an issue, there's no way.
No, it'll be a short or something usual, as a very short fuel splash. But I would imagine she will be relegated down to 2 laps down with Stanley after this one. Interestingly enough, with that said, Pillar and Ellis are back onto 1 lap down now. Although as being on such different strategies, until the caution comes out, they will return 2 laps down with the next set of cycles. Greg still setting faster lap times than Wright, hunting him down at a steady pace. Currently only 7/10 back from his competitor. It's nice to see some relative diversity in the field today. Last week we were robbed of that, I feel. It was a field of Toyotas, no Chevrolets, I don't think, and maybe 3 or 4 Fords. Now we have an even split between all the manufacturers to keep everyone happy. Unsurprisingly, Daffin did look like he took a fast repair during that last pit. The damage on his Camaro no longer present, so that an impact on the outside wall of 4 no longer affecting him. But I'm sure the psychological damage that may still be there. If he keeps pushing as hard as he was earlier, the odds of it happening are still very high.
Yeah, right, holding on to that second spot, but you see the gaps closing a little bit. But it's only these two. Alec Daffin paying significantly for that contact with the wall earlier on, down in 4th place. Dave Berg going to try to hold on the second as much as he can here. It bodes well for him when he makes his next pit stop, which we estimate, if they're going from 51 to about 66, or sorry, 18 to 66.
It's roughly, I think it's roughly 50, give or take 50 laps either way. So
About 50,
about 100, I think around 130 will be the next set of stops on the primary strategy.
116 is the number. Either way, I think this next stop's gonna be the last stop. And that's what I was trying to figure out, is if there's gonna be another short stop in the way. It doesn't look like there will be.
Stanley back in the pits. Did something happen to him? He has some rear right damage to his car.
I'm not seeing any prolonged issue with the 95, so it wasn't. I don't think he ever came to a stop on track. If there is an issue,
No, nothing happened. I think he may just be.
he made his type of ball.
I don't recall when he last pitted. He is out of the car.
Yeah, his race is done. Because he pit late. Like, he pit on lap 71.
Yes, because he
went super
did it
long.
way too long.
Yeah.
Oh, contact, and it's Greg in the wall. Greg in the wall out too.
Wow!
That is a
violent hit.
visceral impact. Unfortunate, making the inside move from right, and just what did I say? It is the exact same collision we have had every single time tonight. Exact same story. The number one car coming off mostly clean from that. Some minor damage to their inside fender. But other than that, the car is fine.
And this changes just about everything in this conversation.
But Greg, it does.
Well, for a lot of the drivers that were about to have to make another pit stop, this saves them from going possibly 3 laps down. So while Greg comes down pit lane for what we're assuming is going to be a fast repair here, we'll take a look at the incident. Greg tries to go to the inside.
Greg's on the inside.
Same thing we saw.
Tracked up. Yeah, same thing as the, I think, first caution we had. I don't recall what that was. Again, I believe with Wright involved in the exact same predicament of being the outside car caught. Was it Wright? I believe it was Wright involved in that first one. Outside car, tracks down, inside car, tracked up.
Yeah, Wright. Stanley tried cutting Wright off and paid for it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So Wright in the exact same position both times.
Yeah.
From my perspective, my point of view, faultless. Running his line, running his race, and someone tries a bold move that does not work out for them.
It's going to be a very interesting dilemma here. Sasek stayed out. Interesting dilemma for him. And he's going to stay out again. Does not come down pit lane.
Sasek last pitted on lap 52. I don't know what he's cooking, but I don't want to taste it. No, thank you. Potentially going for a lap lead because he is in the lead despite the lap cars ahead of him. I don't know if the pits will still be open this time around. It won't be
because he didn't pit the first time around. So the way that the pit stop rules work, lead lap cars pit on the first lap. Everyone has the ability to pit on the second lap. The third lap of caution is only for those that had previously pit and came back and wanted to come back down pit lane. And because Sasek did not come down the first 2 laps, he can not come down the third lap.
Do you have to enter your stall to be eligible for the third time round?
No, you just have to go through pit lane.
Interesting. Okay. I was unaware that's how it worked. Ellis and Pill are both looking to come in.
They are not on lead lap, so they have the ability to.
This is a bold move in Sasek, and I do not see it lasting very well for very long. Every car behind him, as far as I can see, as far as 12th place can see, they are all on the lead lap, and they are all on brand new tires. So unless Sasek has been saving tire out of his goddamn mind, he just signed his death warrant. That car is going to get chewed up over the next 10 laps.
I think Sasek's idea is that everyone's got a pit stop to make. Still.
That is true. Everyone still has one pit stop to make, but I would rather be in a position that I can pit with 20 to go. You know, throw some more fuel in the tank, throw some better tires on and cruise to the last 20 laps. I would rather not have to worry about tire saving so excruciatingly and so intensely as Sasek will now for the next 15 laps till the tank runs. About 15 laps, his tank will be, he should be dry. Like, how bad would it be for the next 15 laps? Pace car out. And they're away. Sasek immediately falling back, as expected. Merrick into the lead, Daffing close behind him. Elkins going for the inside third place line. Hernandez diving through 4th place now. Wright severely missing out on spots from previously being in 2nd place. The caution caused by Greg, who is now right behind him, fully repaired. He has missed out significant positions on this incident and a lead to 4th place.
Oh, and this is going to be a bottleneck right here. Right, Greg Blowers tagged the wall. There's Frazier in the 13, back on cycle. Sear in the 89, also in the mix.
Sasek already back 9 places.
Yeah.
Jonah going into the pits.
I think Jernigan tagged the inside wall. I think he got loose on the opening lap there. We saw someone dive to the inside of out of turn 2. As Sear gets spun. Sear comes off the wall and spins on her own, stays green in the grass. But Sear tagged the wall and got loose.
That's unfortunate.
Gonna get up to speed again here.
There's one thing to spin, another thing to spin by yourself, and then there's the third thing for that spin to be on the infield with no caution. It's hit after hit after hit, and you come out with a lot of bruises.
Yeah, that's gonna take the wind right out of the sails of Zier.
Oh, and we have Thompson spinning. There's the caution Zier needed. Thompson doing the exact same thing, just going high into 4, spinning, and just coming to a halt over the finish line. Just tracks too high, hits the wall, avoids being collected or collecting other cars, and just comes nearly to a stop over the line. A saving grace for Zier, an absolute saving grace for Zier, and I would say a saving grace for Sasek, but I think it's too early. He would still require a stop.
Everyone's still in the same position. Sasek's in the same spot he would.
But now he's further back, and he's going to lose even more positions.
Waddle will be the free pass recipient from this caution, so that would give us 13 cars on the lead lap.
Ten laps later, and that would have worked out perfectly for Sasek. It would have fallen right into his hands. And if he could have preserved his tires for the early mid run of that last green flag run, assuming it goes green, he could have sailed past several cars. However, that hasn't happened, unless there is another caution in 10 laps time, which, hey, at this rate is very possible with how many cars are getting loose or getting tight out of that fourth wall, into that fourth wall, should I say, or how many cars are colliding into one, with one going up, one going down. The two incidents we're seeing the most of this tonight, into one and out of 4. Frequent enough that Sasek could still be saved by could be relying at this point on a late run caution to save his race. But he'll be required to come in for fuel very soon. So we have Zier coming out of the pits now, a 1 minute stop. Oh, of course, yeah, she had damage, so some minor damage. I imagine some front right suspension damage work fixed there. Thompson coming into the pit lane, no damage caused from... yeah, they hit the wall too, obviously. Yeah, so they may be in the pits for a while as well, fixing any geometry damage caused by that collision. Jernigan's still in the pits after 4 minutes from that initial inside wall on the second to last caution start. I think that obviously means his fast pairs are done for the day, and the car's done too. So Merrick is doing some heavy fuel saving. He is putting the clutch down, he is turning the motor off, and he is coasting. He's looking to make his next stop as short as possible on fuel. So no one else in this field is doing any kind of fuel saving of that nature. Maybe throwing the clutch in, maybe lifting. But the heavy fuel saving that America's doing currently, you know, clutch in, engine off, coast the car.
You can't save that much fuel, I don't think. I think that's just the unfortunate thing. That everyone's got one pit stop to make here. And
Well, a second extra in the pits can mean a world of difference.
well, if you're taking 4 tires, the fuel won't matter. Green flag back in the air with Watchorn, Elkins, and Daffin. And Washington's going to try to do what he's done every restart so far, and that is walk away with
Hernandez into the back of Daffin on the restart there.
Hernandez not lifting. There's Wright and Greg side by side again, with Frazier right behind.
I imagine at this point, Wright is terrified of being on the outside wall.
Ooh, Hernandez and Greg almost got into it there. Hernandez chopping the nose off that 18 car. But as I was mentioning before with the pit stop, I guess the pit stop times, if you're taking 4 tires, they're not running a full fuel tank. So the only time you would notice them taking fuel is if they were taking like a 2-tire stop.
It's very possible that's what he's doing. We know that Watchorn has a talent for saving both the tank and the tires. If his current plan is to save fuel, go for a 2-tire stop and just decimate the competition in the next stop, I don't see why he can't make it work. Oh, contact Daffin and Elkins out of 3. Minor tap. Elkins falling back behind Hernandez, Greg, and soon to be Wright, and Daffin getting away with it. Oh, Wright and Elkins having some argy-bargy. Fraser going for an inside move. Oh, very nearly tracking up into Wright. I think at this point, Wright is going to be terrified of being around any other car in a corner.
Right. Frazier going to try to put elbows out here and try to get around Elkins for 6th place.
Very bold moves in Frazier on their debut. Not afraid to get dirty. Sometimes with a rookie that is a good thing, and sometimes with a rookie that is a bad thing. We have cases of both in this series. Very tight battle from 3rd all the way through to 7th here. Hernandez, Greg, Wright, Elkins, Fraser, all on the same strategy, all seemingly evenly paced so far. 3 wide into 1 and 2. Wright just coming out on top, making a gap. Here we go again, take 2, inside T1, Greg inside, right outside. Very nearly happens again.
Yeah.
Very nearly happens again.
Still side by side, another lap.
I'm sure at this point both cars are doing whatever they can to avoid a repeat, because there are going to be no more repairs for them if they have none left. You know, Greg for sure definitely has no more fast repairs. I don't know if Wright has them or not.
I don't think Wright does. There's Elkins trying to make his way through. He's been sitting kind of waiting. Almost made it through wide the lap before. Just trying to find a way through. Again, don't ignore that 13 of Frazier. Obviously new to the series.
Very eager for a good finish tonight. Currently one position up from their qualifying position. They've been up and down the field tonight, but they're in a good position for good points and good finishing positions.
Yeah, right now in a really good spot here. If any of these three make a mistake, or if you see someone like this, Frazier refraining from making 3 wide, it'll pick off Elkins here.
Elkins struggling after that hit with Daffin.
Oh, contact there between Wright and Greg, but it was more of a bump draft.
Hey, I've seen this one before.
Yeah, the sequel turned out a little bit better than the original.
Often not the case.
No.
Elkins back past Fraser. A little bit of... Oh, very close. That was very close. He keeps tracking high out of 2. And I keep thinking, is he going to do it? But that was very close and out of 4.
It just... when he gets on the...
so close again with Greg and Wright. It's going to happen again at this point, I'm certain. They can not learn their lesson.
If not between those two, then Elkins is going to have a part of it too. They've got to. All of them are just pushing just a little bit tight. Either on entry or on exit. Frazier with latency issue. Back there, I should believe. Still having latency issue. Back again.
A little bit of contact with Elkins and Wright. Wright to get off the gas to avoid hitting turn 4.
Yeah, RG Buchanan coming in early. This was in the window. Sasha comes in as well. So, last pit stops have begun for some drivers.
I still understand the benefit of Sasek's strategy, because as we saw, 45-ish laps is kind of the window for pitting. 45 or so. Obviously, there's less than that in the race left, but there's 40 to go. But you don't want to be 6 windows out of your normal pitting cycle come the end of the race, considering that all the other cars still have to pit. The tire advantage you're going to have for the next 20 laps will be completely diminished come 5 to go, 3 to go, 2 to go, white flag. I don't see it working out. I don't think it being a point, a worthwhile venture for Sasek tonight. I think he's going to come out of this with a lot learned and very little going for him.
We're going to find out here this battle for effectively 3rd place. Everyone's still holding on to Hernandez. Hernandez has not been able to break away from this. Has not been able to break away from this at all. Also got an update. Jack Stanley, the first retirement of this race, currently the only retirement from this race, heat exhaustion, the source of his retirement here. Not really anything car related, but a heat exhaustion related issue.
Unfortunate to see.
Hernandez getting the breakaway from Brennan Gregg as everyone now battles for 4th place here. David Wright and Elkins once again swapping positions.
I mentioned earlier in the race that Hernandez and Gamillion had been having very poor showing so far. They were running midfield with... I couldn't see any reason why. Hernandez has picked it back up. Obviously, he qualified second, so he's still not looking great. A significant drop from his qualifying position, but he's picked it back up. Chameleon, however, is only one up from his qualifying position, up in 9th place. Another teammate of Watchhorn's, usually up there at the front, having a very bad showing today. Hasn't been involved in any incidents, has been on cycle with the primary pit strategy, just hasn't been performing.
He's spacing out just a little bit as we know we're approaching another round of pit stops here soon. Approaching the final stanza in this race. We're on lap 114 of 147. For everyone sticking around with us here on a wonderful Friday evening, no matter where you are in the world, we appreciate you spending your time with us here on ABN. I'm Carmen alongside me, Callie, Heydt for tonight's race. If you're enjoying the racing that we have on just about every night of the week, you're going to enjoy tomorrow night as well. The OAP Super Sports Series from Michigan. Some IROC action at the 2 Mile Oval that was known for its speeds when these cars ran back in 2013. We're going to see some of those speeds tomorrow night. So you're not going to miss that.
That's a very powerful car. A very powerful car on a very long track there. That'll be a lot of fun to watch.
209 miles an hour, the expected top speed at that track tomorrow night, 9:45 p.m. Eastern. If you're enjoying the TWIGI iRacing series, next week they're road course racing in Mid-Ohio. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Third road course race of the season for them next Friday evening. We're looking at Jacob Elkins down in 6th place at the moment. This battle's really spread out. Everyone used up a lot of those tires early. That caution helped them save a little bit. But now it's Hernandez and Greg once again battling for 3rd spot with everyone else managing to that last pit stop.
You know, they could have chosen a better name than Mid-Ohio. Because in Ohio, you already knew it was mid.
I'm not even going to argue it, because Kentucky's better than Mid-Ohio, but...
Right, Fraser, Blowers into the pits for the last time tonight.
Yeah, this is kind of when we expected those pit stops would kind of take place. I said 116. They went a lap longer with that caution. But that gives them about 30 laps to the end of this race. Very manageable 30 laps.
We also have Thompson coming in, though a lap down. We have Elkins coming in. With a 2-second gap to Daffin, Watchhorn really has all the time in the world to make that stop. He can split it however he wants. And with the potential of a 2-tire stop with fuel saving, yeah, he has all the power in the world and will likely shoot off again right afterwards.
But they're still heating up here, and it's going to be this way all the way into their pit stops. Allison Pillar in pit lane. Elkins made his pit stop as well last lap. Oh, almost contact between the 19 and the 18. A little bit of side drafting going on. Greg sliding up the track just a little bit.
Will the move stick into 1 and 2? Will we have a repeat of Greg and Wright?
Almost.
Oh, very nearly. Hernandez sailing past, but Greg having the traction and the grip back out of 2.
Greg's going to end up getting clear here because Hernandez had to get out of it because he couldn't really get down to the track like he wanted to. And he lost all his momentum there. So Greg's going to take third place away right before pit stops take place here for these 3, I'm assuming.
I gotta say, with how many incidents we've seen of the same variety in 1 and 2, I'm not sure why when they rehauled this track, they didn't put the low banking on 1 and 2 and keep 3 and 4 the same. I feel that would have saved a lot of problems. So now of the lead car runners, or the lead lap runners, sorry, we have positions 1 through 5 on the same cycle. We have Zier 10 laps fresher, but that's a result of her earlier spin and the caution brought out by Thompson facilitating a earlier stop without, position penalty. I don't know. She'll still need to stop once more, won't she? But with the fresher tires, she can go do it whenever she wants. That's Greg coming in now. Greg coming in for their last stop of the race.
Yeah.
83 making it up to 123, 40 laps on the stop with 25 to go. 24 to go. Right, taking the fight back to Hernandez. With no Greg in sight, no Greg to worry about this time. Clearing Hernandez with ease. Obviously, he's on considerably newer tires, and Wright has made his final stop of the race.
Yeah.
Daffin in now for his last stop. That leaves Watchhorn, Hernandez, Gamillion, and Azia of the lead lap runners with their last stop to go. I think an earlier stop was the better idea. The gap you can make on these fresher tires will be considerable, considering there is not a full tank run to go for some of the other cars. There might not be enough time to make positions on fresher tires.
Car in the wall. Somewhere I heard contact. There's a car in the wall. I think it might have been Gamillion that tagged it. It was just out of frame. But I heard the contact. It isn't Gamillion. Somebody tagged the wall hard. And we don't know who it was because it didn't pop up on our menu. It was Greg. Look at the damage on the side of Greg's car.
Oh.
He was trying to get around Gamillion. It's not a flush right side panel anymore. It was Greg, who had just come out of pit lane. Yeah, you see the right front fender's been in there. You can tell the damage from that point of view. He's just trying to push so hard because he is well behind the 8 ball here. David Wright was one of his competitors in that conversation, and Wright is so far ahead right now.
It's about 5 seconds from Wright to Greg. Greg being on what? 7 lap pressure tires. Again, that's a lot of ground to make up through traffic to take the height to Wright. Actually, Wright is very close to unlapping himself here. He's right behind Watchhorn and catching.
David Wright legitimately could take the lead of this race.
That's an interesting prospect. If he can unlap himself before Watchhorn comes in. If he can unlap himself before Watchhorn comes through his pit, that would guarantee a race lead. It would then be up to Watchhorn to take the fight back to Wright in the closing stages of this race, which is closing quickly. The more time you give it, the less time you have to make those moves that you need through traffic with, you know, cold tires, warming up. Wright is laying down laps nearly a second faster than Watchhorn every lap. But don't count out Elkins, right behind Wright with a half-second gap. The race for the lead, I think, is currently up to either the number 1 car or the number 9 car. I don't think there are any other cars currently in contention. Should they make this strategy work? We are in prime position for an upset victory here tonight. Unless Watchhorn has some magic to pull out of the bag yet to come. Again, earlier we discussed the possibility of Watchhorn pitting right now. So Wright will make the pass to unlap himself as Watchhorn comes in.
Watchhorn's gotta have to have a really good pit stop here.
He didn't. He locked up on coming in.
Oh, that's not a great start.
It's not a great start. If he was hoping for a right side swap, well, that's not looking good already.
Now, here's the interesting thing. So Wright and Elkins are both on the same strategy here. They're both going to try to take the lead of this race. Gamillion in the lead of this race, but he is not yet pit. Watchhorn.
Yeah, it is right side tires for Watchhorn.
No, he's taking all 4.
He's still... Oh, he's taking all 4.
He's taking all 4. Yeah, he's just now leaving his pit box. They're going to take the lead of this race easily. Watchhorn just now leaving pit lane. He's going to have fresh tires, but he's got a lot of cars to try to charge through here. Gamillion in pit lane now.
In the pit lane, the current leader in pit lane. That will promote Zia to race lead, getting some lead laps in there. Now she roughly has a 10-lap fuel tank advantage. She is currently fuel saving hard. She's, you know, clutching, coasting round through 1 and 2. Potentially 3 and 4 as well. With an 8-second gap to Elkins, but such a significant tyre difference, she can still look at maybe potentially a podium spot here. But, I'm not sure. 4th may be a better bet. But currently, the race lead is happening with the number 9, 48, and 1 car. These are the cars racing for the lead. 48 making the pass on Elkins just then.
And
right close behind.
Daffin on way fresh tires.
Way fresher tires. Nearly 10 laps fresher than both Elkins and Wright. He has the advantage and he has track position. I think Wright may have burnt his tires up too soon because Jernigan here is trying to contend for that pass despite being several laps down. And they pitted roughly the same lap. Actually, Wright being on fresher tires. So unless he's saving hard for the last stages of the race, I think his tires are already done. I think his he may have already flushed away his chances for a race win, and now just has to. Oh, I say hope for a podium, but here comes Merrick Watchhorn, already behind the contending 3.
Yeah.
You know, we thought maybe an upset here, but I don't know. Absolutely not. 10 to go. 10 to go. Merrick's already there. It doesn't matter. We were so hopeful of something interesting happening, but
still might. Merrick's not at the race lead yet.
No, but he'll be he'll be provisionally in the lead very, very soon. He's past Elkins. He just passed Right.
There's an 8-lap difference in tires there between between Daffin and Watchhorn.
I don't think Zia can make it without pitting. Last in lap 93, despite any considerable saving, she can't do it. Watchhorn lapping nearly a second faster than Daffin here. A second faster than Elkins in right too. Second and a half faster even.
Oh, this is gonna be such a. It's like getting past at a standstill.
And there it is. Not even like during the corner, before the corner even happened, because he had the grip to break Laker. Laker? Yeah, sure. Now in front of him here is Zia. Zia being on 40 lap older tires, pitting who knows when. Honestly, the longer that she stays out, the worse she'll fall, because those tires are done. That car is already facing damage.
I wonder if she was trying to save him. I wonder if she has the fuel to make it to the end.
Potentially,
I wonder. Because that's just a little over 50 laps, and we had a caution in that period. I wonder. I thought the fuel tank was 52 laps. She's trying to go 54. I think she actually could make it.
And the tires make it though. Daffin put by, no problem. Obviously, there's a 2.5 second gap between the next 3 cars.
And they're battling hard.
Pressure tires. They are battling cars. Wright is struggling on tires. The Elkins and Greg, I think, will be up to her in the next 4 or 5 laps. Then they have 3 laps to make the pass, which I think by that point, the degradation on those tires, it won't be a question. Yeah, Zia is still saving heavily. Clutch all the way in, all the way through 1, letting off at 2.
Trying to get her. Josh Jorgensen's throwing a wrench in their plans too.
He is definitely throwing a few tools in there rather not be there.
Yeah. Side by side, Greg and Elkins with Wright holding on to this top 6 at the moment, trying to get into the top 5, hoping they can get up to Zia and pass Zia to get that top 5.
Looks like Wright has the momentum here to go on the inside. Oh, little block there from Elkins, and now Zia is in the way of Wright. Any momentum Wright had, it has just been demolished, completely eviscerated by the slow-moving Zia.
Zia staying out, but at the very bottom of the track here, Jernigan's going to get in front of Wright. Zia up in the air a little bit, caught a little bit of air time on the apron. It drops to 6th.
Oh, you can't trust Ford shocks. With these pictures, you think there are 4 cars racing for the last podium spots, but no, there's only 3, with Jernigan securely in the mix of a race that he is not involved in.
Rolling through.
Oh, very close to right there.
Not easy.
We have 4-second gap from Watchhorn to Daffin, another 4-second gap from Daffin to Greg. Hernandez catching Zia very, very quickly. Much pressure tires, no need to fuel save. I think Zia's looking at a 7th place finish as it stands. The gap from Hernandez to Fraser being 4 seconds. And that's Hernandez passing Zia down to 7th place. At this point, she just has to pray she can bring it home without any more cars passing her.
Two laps to go. See, there's Zier. Fraser is not coming out of 4. Zier might hold on to 7th place here.
As Watchhorn takes the white flag, 1 more to go. Can anyone make a last lap move for position?
Like a little bit too far back between the battle for 3rd place here. Greg may well just have it locked up from Elkins and Wright.
I think so. Wright will be especially annoyed at the interference of Jernigan tonight. 14 laps down from their race and just not letting up.
Crossing the line.
Right.
Merrick Watchorn, 25th career win here in the TWIGI iRacing series.
For a few moments, we thought we wouldn't have it. We thought, oh wow, it's not going to happen. But, well, we hoped we were wrong.
Everyone gave it a shot, though. It was a very interesting strategy call. 25th career win. Merrick Watchorn. He gets it done in Kentucky.
That's Daffin up 11 spots from his qualifying position. Zia up 10.
Yeah.
Despite the shortcomings of her strategy, perhaps, still decent positions gained considering no qualifying.
Yeah, that could have been so much worse. Had she have actually come down a pit lane, she would not have been in the top 10.
It could be worse. You could have been driving in the 71 car tonight.
Yeah, I feel bad for Sasek. Sasek just had nowhere. He was nowhere for so long. So this is race win number 10 for Watchorn in the season. Record in the series is 11 wins in a season. And we're not sure Merrick's going to get it next week at Mid-Ohio.
Next week coming to a road course, there are a few names on this roster who may take the fight to him. Eli Sasek, Rudy Valentin, to name a few. Yeah. Experienced, talented road ringers. Merrick, less so. Merrick's win rate on road courses is not as high as his win rate on ovals, that's for sure.
Merrick Watchorn, race winner tonight. Daffin second. Brennan Gregg will finish third in this race.
I believe Zia actually ran out of gas coming across the line.
Yeah. So she cut it close, but it worked out.
Very close.
Before we go through the full running order, we'll talk to our race winner for the 25th time in the series, 10th time this season, Merrick Watchorn. Merrick, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Alrighty. That is race win number 10 on the season, number 25 on your career here in the TWIGI iRacing series. And it wasn't all straightforward. There was a strategy game involved tonight, and for a period of time, it looked like it was a very interesting a strategy call for you, having to try to make your way back forward. Kind of just walk through your race tonight and I guess how that strategy all played out at the end for you.
Yeah, no, a lot of the guys were just definitely trying to outclass me when it came to the strategy, but I knew the tires were more important than pitting early, so I wanted to give myself a good cushion enough to have the tires to drive away the way I did and keep a healthy lead. And if a caution came out, well, I'm the control car, so I could pit. I had an extra set of tires left overall after everything we did tonight. Tonight was just a really hard fought battle. The Twig machine was on fire. Oh man, I just can't ask for more. Just man, oh man, 10th win of the season. That's all. That's all. That's all you got to see on that one.
Obviously, you look at how this season has gone for you. It's gonna be a historic season no matter what. We are now officially halfway through the season. 10 wins out of 18 races. Obviously, Mid Ohio next week is going to kind of put a wrench in things. But how does it feel? Already having 10 wins. Your record was 11 last season. To already almost match that. Just halfway through the season with a lot more races coming up that are right down your alley. How much does that feel for you? A healthy field tonight as well. Everyone brought their A game tonight.
Yeah, no, it was a fantastic opportunity to see everyone out tonight. A full, 18 drivers. Hopefully we can get back up to above 20 by the end of the season. We were really trying to get, our numbers back up. But man, oh man, getting my 10th win tonight meant a lot. Being there, being able to be that close to my record is a fantastic feeling. You just got to give a shout out to the league. I mean, everyone comes out practicing. Everyone practices on their own time through AI races. A lot of guys are just, struggling on that long run part, and I just excel in the long run. I love me some long run racing, and we had a lot of that tonight, so it kind of set me up for, being able to do what I did. But man, towards it when we had that final restart, I thought Alec might have something for me because he was there. I didn't know if I was able to pull away from him or wait till the tires, fell off for him. And when they did, I was able to start increasing my gap to him and just go sailing, on my own. So it was a fantastic feeling. Man, oh man, 10th win of the season, win number 25 of my career is a fantastic achievement. I'm just so thankful and so happy about this.
Obviously, there's still a lot of racing left. Still half the season left to go here tonight. A race win. Again, ABN's home track. You've won most of the 1.5 mile tracks this season. Red America coming up, so we know that you're going to do a lot of practice for there, just like you had Sonoma earlier in this season. But before we let you go and kind of let you get ready for that, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congratulations on yet another race win, 25 in your career tonight.
Thank you. I just want to give a shout out to everyone who joins our league and races with us week in, week out. We can't do it without y'all. Everyone that comes out and shows up and, puts their time and effort and dedication and, commitment to the league is, a great feeling. I want to thank my teammates from the Watch Army More Sports group. They just, my guys are struggling a little bit. Calm our heads, hopefully for next race. We had that late caution kind of messed up strategy, so a lot of people were a little upset. But, you got to be able to adapt. So it's something, my guys are going to have to go back to the drawing board and working on. Give a shout out to TWIGI, the Watch Innovation Group Incorporated, Quantum Security Alliance, and of course, Capture the Occasion, some of the sponsors on my own car. And give a shout out to y'all for giving us a broadcast and, showing the love and showing us off to everyone. Really appreciate it. Just to get that close. And, road courses aren't really my thing, but I'm going to try my best and go out of my way to practice. And like you said, just hopefully maybe, win out the whole month of June. That'd be kind of cool. So let's see what happens.
Well, you got one race away from doing that and taking home the full month sweep. Merrick, congratulations. 10th win of the season, 25th of your career here in the TWIGI iRacing series. We'll see you next Friday at Mid-Ohio.
Thanks, Carmen.
That was Merrick Watchorn, race winner tonight here in the TWIGI iRacing series. We'll pull up the finishing order here in just a second as TK decides to have its issues right there at the very end of this race. But don't sweat it. We're going to bring up the results here in just a moment. Merrick Watchorn, the race winner, had Alec Daffin and Brennan Gregg in this race. We got to hear from Merrick Watchorn in this event. Here's the full results, the full running order. Watchorn, Daffin, Gregg top 3, Jacob Elkins in 4th, David Wright finishing top 5 ahead of Patrick Hernandez, and Lily Frazier, the debutante, finishing in 7th place. A good result for her on her debut. Lilac Zero in 8th, Blowers finishing P9, Adam Reese-Gamillion, who rounds out a top 10. All four, the Watchorn Motorsports cars, finishing in the top 10 tonight. Eli Sasek finishing 11th, the first car off the lead lap. RJ Buchanan in 12th. Selena Thompson finishing 13th, 1 lap down. With Casey Ellis and Greg Pillar 2 laps down. Bad strategy calls early in the race. Really, they never got themselves dug out of that hole. John Buwalda finished 3 laps down. Jernigan down 17 laps, but took the finish. And Jack Stanley, 18th, last car, classified, retired due to heat exhaustion. Hope that he can get that sorted and hope that he's feeling better after stepping away. But that is the running order here at Kentucky. A lot more action this weekend coming up. Tomorrow night, 9:45 p.m., the OAP Supersports Series from Michigan. Gonna be a lot of fun there. If you enjoy IROC style racing, stay tuned in for that one tomorrow night. And Sunday, 7 p.m., the ARCS A Square Cup Series from Nashville Super Speedway. Who's gonna make their ticket to the A Square Cup Series playoffs? We'll find out tomorrow night. Or not tomorrow night, Sunday night. And as for this series, next week, Mid-Ohio, third road course of the season behind Sonoma and Watkins Glen. They visit the Buckeye State, our almost home track here for ABN as they go through the Midwest. But on behalf of everyone for the TWIGI iRacing series, on behalf of everyone here for ABN Studios, my commentator Callie Heydt, I'm Carmen Sienna. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, try to have some fun this weekend. But we'll be seeing you next time, tomorrow night at Michigan. Until then, so long, everybody.